Hey guys, welcome back. This is here. In today's video, I'm doing something that I haven't done in quite a while. Today, I'm going to be filming another one of my zero waste videos, and I'm filming this today because lately, a lot of my things on my channel have been either about Lush or about being vegan or about my crazy life in Japan, but zero waste is a really big part of my channel. So with that being said, I'm going to play the intro and I'll get back to you guys in just a second. Okay, you guys, so as I already said, today's video is a zero waste video, and I'm making this video because a really good friend of mine here pretty much just like called me out, and she said, hey yo, like, love your Japan videos, love your vegan videos, love your Lush videos, but like, I thought your channel was about zero waste. And I was like, oh yeah, well it is, but like, zero waste is a big part of my life, but it's not like the main part of my life, and it's just not really what I've been super excited about because I've been into zero waste now for about 4 years, and so I don't necessarily feel like it's something I'm new and excited and learning about, but I have realized recently that there's still a lot of people that are really excited and interested in some of the things I have to say about zero waste, so I'm going to start making a couple more zero waste videos. And yes, I did wear this outfit, this scarf and this shirt and this makeup look in my Lush comparison video, and that's because, well, it's the same day, and a lot of times I film multiple videos in one day and then edit them over the next few weeks. But anyways, if you guys read the title of this video, which I assume that you did since you clicked on it, today I'm going to be talking about how I stay zero waste or how I stay low waste while in Japan. And to be completely honest, zero waste in Japan is a struggle. It really is. And so I'm going to first talk a little bit about why it's a struggle in Japan, and then I'm going to tell you guys some of the things that I do in order to stay zero waste in Japan. So without further ado, why are we wasting our time? Let's just start out. First thing I want to talk about really quickly is kind of like some of the things I've noticed in Japan when it comes about like cleanliness and packaging. I've lived here for almost a year, and so I feel like I pretty much am able to speak on all seasons at this point. One of the first things I noticed when we moved here is that everything in Japan seems to be wrapped in plastic. Well, not everything, but the Japanese really seem to love keeping things sealed and wrapped in plastic, and so that they know that everything is clean and hygienic. I totally get it. It's the largest city in the world, so I totally understand why we want to keep things like clean, because there's so many of us like kind of squished together in one place. If disease were to break out, then like it would be really bad for all of us because we'd all catch it. However, I think that some things in Japan are kind of overkill, and here are some of the examples. So one of the first things that drives me absolutely batty about the waste movement in Japan is that, as I already said, everything is wrapped in plastic, but also it seems like in Japan, like they unnecessarily, not just for hygienic purposes, the Japanese just like to put things like in some type of a carrying container in order to get them from one place for another, which fine. But some of the things I'm talking about that really make me upset are things like plastic bags. I despise plastic bags. When you go to the convenience store, or actually even when like you're going to like a food truck or something, if you are getting a takeaway, they put it into a sealed plastic container, but then they put it into a plastic bag, which I just do not understand. Like, why? Like, it's in a sealed container. I don't know. And I asked one of the guys who was working at the food truck, because it was like an organic vegan food truck, why they put things in a plastic bag. And he said, honestly, it's because the Japanese customers want it. And I'm like, okay, fine, I get it. But why? Another thing I've noticed is not only with their takeaway foods, but it's also when it go into the convenience store. So like when I go into the convenience store, which I frequent relatively often, a few times a week, ish, something like that. Everything is wrapped in plastic, again, for hygiene purposes. So for example, you can go into the convenience and they do have fruit, but again, the fruit is wrapped in plastic. Even one banana in the convenience store is wrapped in plastic. And yes, I know in the comments you guys are telling me it makes it last longer. Okay, yes, I get it. But like, there's never that much fruit at a convenience store, and at the end of the day, it's always completely cleaned out. So why do we need to wrap it in plastic? Why? I don't know. Another thing too with the convenience stores, they like to, when you buy a drink or like a soda or something, they take the plastic bottle of soda and they put it into a plastic bag and they hand it to you. Wouldn't you think like if I was buying a soda, just only a soda, like I'd want to drink that soda as soon as I got outside of the convenience store, or I'd want to take it with me in my bag? why does it need to be in a plastic bag? And then one more thing that I have noticed in a lot of places is that something that's really important to Japanese people, and I totally understand with so many people and like the outside is dirty anyway, is taking off your shoes in public places. And I've seen in a couple of places they have like these little like shoe booty things. I don't remember the name of the store, but I thought that it was really interesting that you can put on your shoes if you don't want to take them off, which I suppose like is better than tracking dirt off, but like just take your shoes off. Really? That's ridiculous. But anyways, there's a lot of little things like that where there's just like little tiny pieces of like plastic or like some type of like a sleeve or something over anything that you might put anywhere near like your mouth or your eyes or like that you might even touch is wrapped in plastic to make it safe. Whatever, Japan. I am in the world. I do not have to be of the world. I am in the world. I do not have to be of the world. Another thing I've learned about living in Japan is that the recycling system in Japan is a really big deal. Now where I live, we only have we have like 3 bins in our basement, I think. We have like one for paper, one for all plastics, and then one for metal, all glass and cardboard and trash, which seems like a lot if you're coming from the States, but in Japan that is not a lot. Another friend of mine lives another neighborhood away and they have like 4 different types of plastic that they have to sort. I know that you're watching. Hi, Jen. But another thing I have learned is they don't really have landfills in Japan because, let's be honest, we don't really have anywhere to put landfills. If that's not correct, I'm sorry, please let me know in the comments, or maybe they ship it somewhere, I don't know. But anyways, most of our trash is burned or they try and find ways to take it apart and recycle it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, even though we don't have landfills in Japan, we do have like end up with a lot of people and a lot of trash, and we have to find somewhere and something to do with it. So if you ask me, rather than having to worry about how to deal with it, let's just eliminate the trash that we're making and let's try to make less. I'm sure there are other things about waste in Japan that I haven't mentioned, but that's pretty much all I can think of right now. And I didn't write a script for this, whatever. Anyways, now I'm going to move on to the second part of the video, and I'm going to talk about the ways that I help eliminate trash while I'm in Tokyo and also in my home a little bit, mostly just while I'm traveling around Tokyo. First thing I wanted to mention, and I know I've talked about in other videos, is that zero waste is not necessarily something that you do in your home. It's about like what you do outside your home and the things that you bring into your home. Within my home, I use pretty much the same practices that I used to use in the States. I try to use reusables. We don't have any disposables in our house, all that things. Well, that's not necessarily true. We do have toilet paper, but that different video. But when I am bringing things into my home, I make sure that I use a reusable bag and also some reusable produce bags. Which honestly, I don't really use the produce bags, but anyways, if you're traveling to Japan, or really if you're anywhere in the world, you should be carrying a reusable grocery bag of some kind. Now this one I've had, no joke, since like 2010. It was actually a little graduation gift from my friend Phoebe before I moved to the Czech Republic, and it's because she knew that we couldn't get like plastic bags for free there and that I should just have a reusable one. So sweet, by the way. Phoebe, I know you're watching. Hi! Okay, so as I was saying, the reusable bag that I've had for like 10 years. I don't know even what the brand of it is. It's Envirosax, and the website apparently is envirosax.com. So if you want to get one, you can get one there, or you can use really a reusable bag. Or if you have like cosmetic totes from back in the day, just use those. Nobody cares, and if they do, they need to find a hobby. But one reason I really love this one, they even sell similar ones at Daiso, is that it's huge and it's been through a lot, and even though it's having like a little tear in it on the bottom, it's in really good shape for having almost 9 years of wear on it. But I also really like it because it folds up really tiny, like this, and it has a snap on it, which is pretty cool. A lot of the Japanese ones have little bags on them that you can shove it into, but I don't have one of those, so at least not yet, because I don't need it. They really do have some cute ones at Daiso. I just haven't bought them because I don't need them. But it folds up like this, and it fits really well in my handbag, and then I don't have to worry about carrying a plastic bag with me. And when this bag is full, I just take it out when I get home and put the things away and then put it back in the bag. Another reason I really like carrying a reusable bag that's a little bit bigger is because of the fact that in Japan, the weather changes sometimes pretty quickly. Like it might be fine and then all of a sudden it'll start pouring rain, or it'll be really cold in the morning, especially in the springtime, but then in the afternoon it warms up and you have to have somewhere to put your bulky jacket. Take your jacket off, put it in one of these, you're good to go. Okay, along the lines of things you bring into your house, and the thing I want to mention that the Japanese love, and I kind of touched on earlier, is plastic bags in the produce department. When I can, I try to get produce loose and I just put them inside my shopping basket, and then I put them from my shopping basket when I'm done into my reusable bag. However, the checkout line is where it gets tricky. if the cashiers notice that you don't have your produce bag, which they will notice because they take it out, they will immediately try to help you out, which bless them, but they will take open underneath their little register. They have a huge roll of those plastic bags, and they'll start bagging their produce for you. And you just have to tell them, no, no, no plastic, no plastic, no plastic. And actually at the checkout line, some stores, they give you a bag for free. Some of them charge you for it. It really depends on where you go. When I am shopping with my reusable bag, as soon as I get to the checkout, I set my basket on the checkout, and then I take out my reusable bag from my purse and dramatically take it out, and I put it on top of my stuff so that they know that that's what I want to use for my stuff, so they don't even try. But you just have to tell them no. And if you're really worried about having that conversation about like not using plastic, or you don't want to make them upset or whatever it is, you can get reusable produce bags. I made these, I think, out of old sheets. I've used them for years. They're well loved is the word that I would use. I don't really use them anymore. I just let the produce hang out loose in the bag until I get home, because it's going to be in there for what, 15 minutes. That pretty much covers like things you bring into your house. I mean, I could go further into like ready meals and stuff, but I think you guys already know that. If you can buy raw ingredients unpackaging, it's better than buying something that's in packaging. If all the produce in your store is in packaging already, and everything you want to buy is in packaging, but you really want to buy something that comes in like a pre-made ready meal, I would probably suggest just buying the ready meal, because that's also wrapped in plastic. It really depends on where you are and what's in the ready meal, but the ones in Japan tend to be pretty fresh because they sell out within 24 hours in the convenience stores and the supermarkets too. So let's move on to other stuff that I do within Tokyo to keep myself at zero waste. So if you're visiting Tokyo, this would be a really big question that you might ask is, what about train tickets? Well, the Japanese have a solution for that, mostly because it's just ridiculous to use paper, and they understand that. And I think that they really do try. But you can get something called a Suica card. Suica card is amazing. It can be used for not only public transit, including trains, buses, and I think some cities have like trams. I haven't seen them yet, but I spend most of my time in Tokyo. But you can also use your Suica card not only to pay for trains, but you can use it to pay for things from vending machines, some convenience stores, and also even some restaurants will take your Suica card. And so if you are worried about carrying a ton of cash around, or if you are worried about like calculating how far you have to go and getting a little ticket, because on the train, I did it one time and only one time because it was a pain in body parts I shouldn't mention on YouTube, to look at the little chart, figure out how many you have to pay for. No, don't figure out how much it costs. Just at the airport, get a Suica card. They cost 500 yen, and I have heard that when you're done, you can take it back to the airport and turn it in, and they'll give you your 500 yen back. And mine doesn't have my name on it, but a friend of mine, he has his name on his, which is pretty cool. And if you lose it, they'll like reissue it to you or whatever. Okay, another big issue in Japan is receipts, which drive me batty. There is nothing that you can really do about receipts. However, just because they print that receipt for you, there is no reason saying that you have to take the receipt. And so a lot of the time when I'm done checking out, I just say to them, well, in some 7-Elevens, they'll actually ask you if you want a receipt, but if they print it out anyway and they try to give it to you, you can just go like this. And that's kind of like, instead of saying no in Japan, even though they do say that, a lot of times they just go like this. And that means like no, or they use both hands and they won't give you the receipt. They'll just put it in the little receipt recycle thingy. Another thing let's talk about is restaurants and food and eating out in Japan. One thing I appreciate in Japan is I have noticed that there is a lot less disposable within a restaurant than there is in the US. However, it's still a thing. And like places like McDonald's, KFC, which I never eat at, but I've been to, and Starbucks, they have lots of paper and disposables. But places like Starbucks, believe it or not, you can bring your own cup as long as it's a Starbucks cup, or as long as it has like the liters written on the side of it. They will totally happily accept that, and they'll give you a 10 yen or 10-cent discount, which is pretty awesome. If you're at Starbucks and you forget your reusable mug, you can ask for a reusable mug, like the glass ones that they have just like in the States, but you have to specify that that's what you want. And I don't know how to do that in Japanese. Usually I just point to the for sale mugs and ask like no paper, and they understand what I want. But however, when it comes to having picnics and stuff, a lot of times at convenience stores, they try to give you silverware, which of course is cheap plastic and breaks and is wasteful. But one thing that you can do is you can bring your own silverware, which I know I've probably mentioned before. I just googled like zero waste cutlery and it came up on Etsy and I bought this. But this is really cool. It looks like this. There's different ones you can get. Some of them are smaller, but I really like this one. I've had this for a year or two now. I got it originally when I was teaching full-time for my lunches because I got tired of plastic. It looks like this. It has like a little pocket for a napkin. I like having a napkin because you can use it as a tissue, or like if you need to clean something up, or like, I don't know, if you drop something and it's like in something yucky, you can like you know, pick it up with it and then take it home and wash it later, or you can blow your nose, whatever you want to do. But it has actually it did have a knife in it, but I don't carry the knife, but it has a spoon that's been loved really well, chopsticks, a little fork, and it came with this straw with the cleaner, but I actually added a smoothie straw or boba straw just because there's a couple of restaurants that I like that serve boba, and they do serve them in a glass, but then they serve you with a plastic straw. So if you take out your reusable straw ahead of time in restaurants, like you can say like order your drink and then say like I don't want a straw, and then take out your straw, they might look at you like you're nuts, but you're a gaijin probably anyway, so it's totally fine. A lot of times they actually say thank you, I've noticed. Like when I take out my reusable bag and they usually say, oh, thank you. I guess it's because you're technically saving them money. But anyway, this is awesome. It doesn't take a lot of space. It's really helpful to use. Also, in some places, they might not have silverware and they could run out, and you can just use these, which is pretty cool. Okay, and then another thing that I do when I'm in Tokyo that I feel like is kind of a no-brainer, but a lot of people forget about this, is to carry a reusable water bottle. I got this one from Tree Tribe, which is pretty awesome. I think it's plant 10 trees for every purchase, which is cool. And this is a little tiny one. It's the 12-ounce size. It works really well in my handbag, and I just keep water in it. And a lot of times in Japanese restaurants, they do offer you free water, although some places only give you 1 cup of water. Some places will leave a pitcher of water on your table, just depending. They usually throw away the pitcher of water when you're done with it anyway. So if your water bottle is empty at the end of the meal, just fill it up. And plus, they got the water from the sink. It's totally fine. Okay, and then one last thing I wanted to mention, that sometimes we forget our reusable water bottle, right? Or sometimes we are thirsty, or like there's no water fountain and there's nothing we can do. Another thing that I really love about stores in Japan is that, yes, there is a lot of plastic. However, in a lot of convenience stores and vending machine, there's usually one drink that comes in like a tin container. And actually it's my favorite Japanese soda, and I don't know what it's called, but I'll show it to you, but it's this Fanta soda, and it comes, as you can tell, in a not plastic bottle, which is awesome. And so in the event that I don't bring my water bottle with me and I really want just something sweet, or I want to give myself like a little treat, I usually pick out the drink or the coffee that's in the tin, because then it can be recycled, which is pretty awesome. Actually, I don't think it's tin. I think it's aluminum, but you know what I mean. It's metal, which is way better than using plastic. Anyways, you guys, that's all that I have to share with you guys about being zero waste in Japan. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments and I will do a part 2. Also, if you guys have any questions for me, just go ahead also let me know in the comments. Otherwise, that's all I have to say. So if you like this video, please hit the like and the subscribe button so you get notification every single time I post something new and awesome and exciting. Otherwise, I will see you guys the next time. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!